Okay, to solve a system of equations using what's called the substitution method, you first have to get one of the equations to have the variable by itself. And that is how it's different than the elimination method. With the elimination method, we're looking for one of the variables to drop out. With the substitution method, we're actually looking for one of the equations to have the variable alone. So to solve a system of equations using the substitution method, you first need to get one of the two equations. It does not have to be both of them. One of the two equations to have the variable by itself. That could be either x equals the rest of the equation or y equals the rest of the equation. It does not matter. You just need to have one of the two equations have the variable by itself. So if you look at example number 1, I look at this problem and it's not lined up for elimination method, so the variables are not on top of each other like what we look for with the elimination method. So in this problem, I think this is a really good problem to use the substitution method because this equation right here has y already by itself. It's in the form y equals. That's the first step that you always have to do when you're solving with a substitution method. So what you're going to do first, and again, we're going to follow those 3 columns that we keep doing over and over and over again here to keep our work neat. You're actually going to write the equation that does not have the variable by itself. So I like to think of this equation as kind of like the messy equation here. This is the equation that we still have to do a lot of work to get the variable by itself. You're going to write that one down first. So 7x plus 2y equals 32. And then you're going to substitute. Just like what we've always done, where we take the variable down here that we solved for and we substitute it in up here, we're going to do the exact same thing, except for we don't know that y is 3 or y is 4 or whatever. All we know is that y is 2x minus 6. So we're going to start writing our top equation, 7x plus 2, and then we're going to stop. And in the place of y, we are going to write, oops, sorry, let me do this in red. In the place of y, we're going to write 2x minus 6 because that is what y equals. Y is 2x minus 6. And then we're going to keep writing our equation equals 32. And then we're going to go ahead and solve. So we're going to say 7x plus 4x minus 12 equals 32. And if you look at this problem, suddenly you only have one variable. You only have x's in the problem. So then you can just go ahead and solve for x. You get 11x equals 44. You divide by 11. And you get x equals 4. So now we actually know what x equals. So then we're going to do exactly what we've been doing with the elimination method. We're going to rewrite our top equation here. 7x plus 2y equals 32. We're going to take our x of 4 and we're going to sub it in. So 7 times 4 plus 2y equals 32. Then we get 28 plus 2y. Now we're solving for y in this column. In the last column we were solving for x. And then here we're just going to solve for y. So y equals 2. Now we're going to put the 2 together. My x is 4. My y is 2. Then again, just like what we've been doing, we're going to check. We're going to take the second equation. We're going to bring it over here. So y equals 2x minus 6. And we're going to sub in our y of 2 and our x of 4 just to make sure that it works. So 2 equals 8 minus 6. So 2 equals 2. And that is our correct answer, the 0.42. Now, substitution method could be used with an equation that does not have y alone, like in the first one. If you look at number 2, you're thinking, oh, this would be a great problem to do elimination on. I could multiply the bottom equation by -4. I could multiply the top equation by -2. But the directions are asking you to solve it using substitution. So what your goal is, again, is to get one of the variables to be by itself. Now, if you're looking at the top equation, it would be pretty easy to get it to be y alone because all we would have to do is subtract the 4x over. And that would be a really good method. I'm just going to show you a different method because on the one we did before, we got y alone. On this one, you could also get the x alone. So we're typically used to seeing y equals and writing our equation of our line in function form, but it's also okay for the substitution method to get the x alone. So if you look at the second equation here, we're going to get x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2y over to the other side, and I get x equals negative 2y minus 1. This is what x equals. So now that we have one of the equation, again, it's kind of messy where the variable is not by itself, and then we have a new equation where the variable is by itself. Now we're ready to begin. We're going to start by writing our equation that does not have the variable by itself, kind of the messy equation. And now in this problem, we're going to substitute in, but we're going to substitute in for x because that's what we have by itself. X is alone. We're going to sub it in right here. So I'm going to start writing 4, and then right where I see the x, I'm going to stop and put my parentheses. What does the x actually equal? The x actually equals negative 2y minus 1. Then I'm just going to keep writing plus what, oops, I don't want that to be in red because I want you to be able to see the difference. So I'm going to erase here. Plus y equals negative 11. And then we distribute through, minus 4 plus y, and then we solve it. Oh, did I add wrong? Oh, I did add wrong. Let's go back. Whoops. Here we go. And sometimes you do get fractions as your answer, so I might not have added wrong. But I knew that on this video I did not have that as any of my answers. So there's my first column. So now we're going to rewrite our second column, just like what we always do. So 4, I don't know my x, but now I know that my y, I'm subbing in. It's the same idea that we've been doing. Subtract 1 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 4, and I get x equals negative 3. So my answer here is negative 3, comma 1. So then I'm going to come back up. Third column, take the second equation, bring it over, and I'm going to sub in. I'm going to add the 3. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to add the 3. Oh, my goodness, I'm messing up a lot on this one. Sorry. I want to keep my check consistent there, so I'm just going to keep following down my check. Okay, time for you to try your homework.